Presenting the Brick House Podcast. The Brick House. Here comes the boom.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Brick House Podcast. My name is Matthew Rick, and I'm so excited for you guys to be listening in, tuning in. Man, today's going to be another great episode. Thank you for joining in. Like I said, my name is Matthew Rick, and today, we are going to be, I'm going to be talking about what does God say about your feelings. So first off, Sunday, time of the recording, why I decided to do this. Because lately, well, I'll just tell you how things have been going for me lately. Lately, like, I have been feeling, we're going to talk about feelings. And I'll get to the point of the points that I want to discuss today. But I believe, like, right off the bat, I believe your feelings are given from God. I believe your feelings are meant to communicate to the rest of your part of your body, like what emotions, are you safe? Are you this? Are you that? Are you happy? Like, it's a way to communicate inwardly and outwardly to people and yourself what's going on. But then I also do believe that sometimes the enemy can use your emotions and feelings to take you away from the truth that God speaks into you. And I have, I would say, experience with both. But I can tell you, there's nothing more than when I feel happy, and I love that feeling, and feeling high, not high, but high on this happiness. And then this sadness, sometimes that feels dread. So where I've been, if you were to ask me, I've been in the middle, and it feels really weird for me personally. Like, I'd rather feel really happy or really sad, and lately I just have been feeling meh. Meh is the best way to put it. And so I want to talk to you, share a little bit of what I looked into. Not very extensive, but I mean, I love talking, and we can get into it. But yeah, I've been feeling meh. And I want to first off to say, like, it's okay to feel what you're feeling. It's okay. It's okay to have doubts in God. My pastor, I actually really loved what he had to say. I don't want to, go down that rabbit hole necessarily, but I'll give you a quick, rundown. One of the biggest things that I took away, he said, it's okay to have doubts. Like, worship through your doubts. Because, like, the thing that he was asking is, if you pray to God and you have doubts, will God still answer your prayers? But I think that we came to the conclusion of this idea that many people, even throughout the Bible, had doubts, and they had feelings, right? They had this feeling of doubt, right? Talk about feelings, see? But that's okay. It's okay to have doubt, but run to God and let God run to you. So what I want to start off with is, God created us in his image. And if you've been around, or you've been listening to me, or you've been reading your Bible, or just simply know a little bit about this Christianity thing, you'll have heard someone say, God created us in his image. And sometimes I know some people are like, they feel very weird, like that feels like they don't like that, because I've been told sometimes it's like, well, how could God create me in his image? And then you don't feel self-worth. You don't feel that, right? God created me in this image, I'm still dealing with this. I'm still struggling with this. But God created us in his own image, so I believe that has to mean that the feelings that you were given, those values, those, not all of them, like God, all good and perfect gifts come from above. All your talents, all your things come from God. Now, there are some things that this world, right? I believe in being in this world, there have been some things that have ravaged, try to take sprout in your body and in your mind. And so you end up falling into these lies. And those are not from God, for sure. But because God created us in his image, those feelings, those God-given feelings, they're natural, right? God made you to be able to cry, to be able to mourn, to be able to be happy and excited, and yeah. The next point, and I maybe talked just about this just a second ago, but in Jeremiah 17:9 it says, "The heart is deceitful above all things." And then you might ask, well, Matthew, didn't you just say that God, like, He created us in His image, He gave us these thoughts, your heart, right? And I think you have to look at the context here, but it's this idea of like, what are you feeding your heart as well? Your heart, like, and like that's what I had made it the point of, like, sometimes, and it doesn't come from God, but your heart can be filled with earthly things, this world, and that could be the deceitful things in your heart. So you definitely want to check your heart. You want to take an examination. You want to look in your own heart. You want to feel it. And I want to make a quick side note. The reason I'm making this video, this episode, is because I don't get this right. I'm just sharing it. I started off this episode with, I do not right now feel the best. Like, that's why I'm like, typically I talk about what I'm struggling with. I'm talking with, like, what I'm dealing with. So no matter how convicting I sound, I struggle with this. I can be on the top of the earth, and then the next minute I'm in the deepest, lowest valley, and I just don't feel like I can get out of it. But there's some good news about that. Now, Solomon, who was the king of Israel, asked God for wisdom. You know, it's good to have wisdom, but he even said in Proverbs, even in laughter, the heart may ache, and the end of joy may be grief. I think sometimes, right, you think like all you can ever feel is one emotion, um, and when I'm talking about this, maybe I've said in another episode, but I don't know why, but like, when I'm talking about emotions, it just makes me think of the movie Inside Out. If you haven't seen the newest one, it's pretty good. It's actually surprisingly deep, which I actually like for a kids movie. Um, but yeah, it's pretty good. But that's also what I've been feeling lately. Like, I'll be feeling good, and I find this ache in my heart. And what I've come to the conclusion is, like, you need to be fulfilled by God. And there's some things that, like, of this world, that you will never be satisfied. Um, I don't have any Bible verse to quite make this point, but I genuinely believe, like, the times where I feel most fulfilled are when I'm with other believers, or when I'm doing God's will or work for in my life. When I'm worshiping, like, my heart, it feels better. Um, but it's okay, like, also to not always feel okay. Um, you know, this is what my pastor today said, and it's a verse now that I think I'm going to hold on to and try to memorize. Jeremiah 17:14, "Heal me, Lord, and I will be saved, for you are the one I praise." So, heal me, Lord, right? You'll heal me, you'll save me, I'll praise you. Um, because that's what he does. And sometimes it's not how we see it, but you know, ultimately God's gonna heal us. He's gonna give us a provision that we couldn't even comprehend. Oftentimes, people always ask, like, Matthew, why would someone who's going through something really hard be given that? And my mind can just go to this Instagram video that I saw the other day. Some kid who I would assume is probably 5 to 7 years old, and this guy asks him, like, why, like, and this kid seemed pretty, like, happy, even though he had cancer. And, like, people had asked him, like, why are you happy while having cancer? And he's like, because God chose me. And that's an interesting mindset to have. God chose me. Um, and he went into it about how, like, the fact that God chose him versus someone else, like, and that, like, it also kind of shows where his perspective is on that. Like, the feelings that you might be feeling, like, God chose you to feel that, like, or like he didn't plan, especially like, I want to get it right straight. Like, God did not put those evil thoughts or feelings sometimes in you, but God allows them because this is another point I want to make out. And a lot of people say God gives you exactly what you can handle. And I believe that can be true. I believe sometimes God gives you, or I think He gives you the right building blocks and the right events in your life to ultimately give you the outcome that He wants for you. But I don't always believe that he gives you and I saw this, and this is just my opinion on it, but I believe sometimes he might give you something that you can't handle, but that doesn't mean he can't handle it. Like, if I'm struggling, and the guy that gave the example, he gave it as, I might not be able to bench 225, but that doesn't mean the people around me can't help me lift the 225 pounds. So, whatever you might be going through, you might not be able to handle it, but that doesn't mean God can't handle it. And so that's just, quick little, like, I felt, when I said that, I felt smooth. I felt like, oh, that's some pretty, I was preaching, that's hot fire, but a lot of what I speak is just already been said, and I'm just so grateful that I have this outlet to speak my mind. And that's something also, like your feelings, like share your doubts, share your feelings, like don't hide them. Like especially I have found out that the more that you share, you actually realize, wow, like so and so actually, like there's more people that actually feel the same way as I. That's interesting, right? Um, and there's this point, and there's no direction to this, but Isaiah 55:11, and this is in Isaiah. So it is my word that goes out from my mouth. It will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it. And I believe this is like kind of representing God. Like, God has this plan for you. Once he makes it final, it's gonna happen, right? There's nothing stopping God's word, right? Once it comes out his mouth, it will not return empty. So the same way, like whatever you might be feeling with, you might be like, man, I just have this heartache kind of like day to day, or I'm, like everything. I feel so blessed. I feel so great. I'm doing good, but then like there's still a part of me that just does not feel fulfilled. Like God has already spoken into your life, and there's nothing. There will be nothing stopping what God's speaking into you. And you might not feel it, but even your own feelings can't stop what God will speak into you. It's gonna happen. It's gonna feel it. But this is a sign of encouragement. 2 Corinthians 4:16 through 18. Therefore, we do not lose heart. Therefore we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. And I think that also goes with how you're feeling. What you're feeling right now is temporary. What is later to come, what is unseen, like God's presence, a lot of times it's unseen, but it's internal, right? So I want you guys to believe in that. Man, I don't have much more to say, but I love you guys. I hope you guys somewhat got something from this episode, and it actually fulfills my heart right now that I'm saying this and I'm speaking into someone. Man, that's a wrap. That's the Brick House Podcast. More episodes that are with people will be coming out soon. I get it. Sometimes solo episodes are not the most popular, but we're going to get more episodes out here. Love you guys. It's the Brick House Podcast. Love you.